Welcome back to Unlocking Success, the podcast where we sit down with Dubai's top performers to uncover the mindset, habits and real stories that drive success in real estate. Today's guest is someone whose story embodies what Haus is all about: hard work, resilience and the belief that anyone can rewrite their story if they're willing to put in the work. From selling cars in Liverpool to becoming one of Dubai's top bidders and an associate director at Haus, Jamie Hemingway has built his career from the ground up. His journey isn't about success, it's about seizing opportunity, trusting the process and growing with a company and its people. Jamie, welcome.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Sales, did you fall into it? Was you made for it? I believe it started at Audi.
It started before Audi. Started in Coldstone School in Liverpool, where I used to sell chocolate bars, crisps and Lucozades to everyone on the football pitches.
And then you sat outside of school,
Outside the
come
school.
out of that first job, Audi mechanic, no? As opposed to sales.
Yeah, started as a mechanic, apprenticeship. Didn't want to go to university. Just thought I want to get my hands dirty and just start working and making some money. Yeah. Little did I know, £2.90 an hour back then was apprenticeship wages, so very different to salaries nowadays. And then fell into car sales, and then that's where the career started really.
Did they notice that? So you as a mechanic, did they notice that no, this guy should be selling them, not fixing them? Or did you notice?
Completely opposite. I met my old manager, Kenny Howard, who's the used car sales manager. Yeah. And I was like, I can't do this mechanics anymore. It's too dirty, it's not for me. I'm sweating every single day and you boys just sit behind the laptop, call people all day and you're really happy all the time. So I was like, give me a chance. And then he made me do 12 weeks of work experience for free. So I did my apprenticeship in Saturday, 9 till 12, and then I got changed into a suit, go out onto the shop floor and just try and drag every client down to get them to buy a car basically, and then got offered the job. And then
Did it go well from the beginning?
Straight away, absolutely loved it.
Why?
Car sales is very similar to real estate, right? It's just very personable. Yeah. And I feel like for me, I just love chatting to people, as you found out over the last 4 years. So for me, it was sociable. And it had a bit of a challenge in the sense of I was trying to get someone to get to somewhere that I knew that they wanted to be, but they just needed like a gentle push to get them there and then get them the best deal as well. So they walked away really happy and the company walked away really happy as well.
And I know you well, so then something happened where you lost your driving license. Yeah. And that affected your career at Audi. Completely,
yeah. So basically, lost my car license, long story short, and I was given a decision to either leave or get sacked. So I was like, I'll just leave. Don't want that on my track record.
Why was that? Because you couldn't do the test drives?
Couldn't do test drives, and we wouldn't have been able to be under their insurance basically if I had no license. Okay. So we were trying to find a solution because I was a top performer in the UK for RD sales. So they were trying to find a solution, but with no license, there was no solution. There was only a problem. So I left, and then I went down to London because I thought, where can I work with no license in London to cut the tubes right? So I went down there and did recruitment. Stayed down there until COVID hit. And then when COVID hit, I kind of fell into real estate again from a job that I got rejected from in 2018.
And that's in Dubai. So you went Audi Liverpool, recruitment London, and then when COVID come, started looking at Dubai real estate.
I didn't even look for it. I interviewed back in 2018 before I started car sales and got rejected by the company because I had no sales experience. Right. Obviously succeeded in sales through the 2 roles in car sales and recruitment, and then he offered me a job. And that's why I messaged you.
Yeah, so you contacted me on LinkedIn, and I think it was something along the lines of you've been offered a job, you just wanted to pick my brain, see what I thought of it, and have a chat.
Yeah, basically.
Then we jumped on a call.
Yeah.
And after that call, you was like, I'd work at Haus.
Yeah.
So then we moved forward with that. What?
I didn't know the company at all. I just thought I'll find someone who's English, who's in a senior role, who'll just give me some advice, and you're from the same areas where my nan used to live. So I was like, this is my guy. So I messaged, and then we had a chat for like, I think it was about an hour and a half.
Yeah, it was a long time. I was in Waitrose. I
Waitrose?
thought it'd be a quick call, and then we ended up, I was walking around the fruit and veg aisle for about an hour.
Yeah, it's never a fast call with me. That's all the clients know as well. But after I spoke to you, I was like, this guy's actually golden. Like, if I could, you reminded me of my old mentor in recruitment, Mike Delia, where he was just super hands-on and like really helpful. because I thought this guy's jumped on a call with me without me even wanting to join his company, and he's just done it out like the goodness of his heart.
Yeah.
And then from there, I was like, this guy's actually someone who I'd want to learn off. And then that's how we got into the actual recruitment process for you guys, without even realising that's where the path was taking me down, basically.
And then when you joined, so obviously you and I spoke, sounded good, felt right, so you done it. Mm-hmm. When you joined, did it live up to the expectation? Exceed it?
Surpassed
did it not meet it?
Completely, yeah. Because for me, I didn't understand the earning capability. And part of the process when I was going through the recruitment side, you actually jumped me on a call with one of your brokers who'd started around 7 months ago, Chris Reeves, who's still with us now. And he's an associate director as well now. And he said to me, he told me how much he was earning. And I felt like it was on Wolf of Wall Street, where he said, show me a check and I'll quit my job right now. And then he told me, and I was like, this is crazy. So when I got here, the first person to come and say hello to me was Chris Reeves. And I'm like, he's done that once again off his own back. He didn't have to come and say hello to me, but once again I kept him on the phone for an hour and a half, and we got on really well as well. And we're like best pals now. So it was, the process for me was, I was surprised at how family orientated the company is, in a sense of it's so inclusive for everyone who comes through. And I feel like the recruitment process is so thorough that they really match our values more than anything, so that everyone's on the same page and no one kind of stays the wrong way on that. So everyone just wants to help each other out, which was like a massive sell point for me. And like the first week in real estate is probably the hardest that you'll do. Sat around 200, 300 people, you don't have a clue who they are. You meet them all, they all come in and say hello when you're in your training. Like it's just really nice and like comforting basically when you join.
And then when you hit the floor, so you start speaking to clients, you start getting stuck into the actual work. What support helped you the most? Because I do feel that when people come to this market, some of them have got loads of experience, some of them have got no experience. So that all of the variants of support that's available, not everyone needs everything. So for you specifically, when you come in, what support helped you get your feet under the table and find some traction?
Yeah, I think the thing for me was like I came from a sales background, so I understood like the basics of the job and how to do it. One thing I didn't understand is that the UK sales is very different to Dubai sales, and that's like all the different nationalities. So when I had a client and I wasn't getting reception from them, I just go and speak to all the agents. So I think you probably remember, I said, who are the top 10 people in the company who I can just go and pick their brains? And I wrote a list down and went round and asked everyone, is your name like Jack Smith, for example? Is your name Asim Sheikh? And I went round and just asked them, and he spent 10, 15 minutes with me just giving me advice. And then from there, obviously the sales director's in place at the time, which was obviously yourself. It was so hands-on. Like you go to lots of companies and the directors are just hidden behind the glass door with the door locked and they don't want to speak to anyone. Whereas you were literally sat on our desk and I could just jump over my head and say, I've got an issue here, can you give me some help? So I think the support aspect of not just telling you the answer, but like trying to get me to understand the answer for you to then just approve that I was right and give me the clarity on it. Like that's what's made me probably get to where I am today, in the sense of I've actually self-learned just with the right guidance rather than just being told the answer and not learning anything. What do you
wish you knew? So during the interview process, during the training, during the times you and I spoke, what do you wish you knew before coming? What was like the biggest surprise for you when trying to operate in the market?
The biggest surprise for me was that when you're selling in Dubai, you're not really selling, you're just advising. Whereas I thought it was like, fair to Wolf of Wall Street, like I thought it was very bullish in that sense, because when I was in recruitment, it was pure business development. So I was ringing, I had 10 seconds on a call to catch someone's attention, and I needed to explain everything really fast and tell them why they needed to sell a house. Whereas looking back now, my conversations with people, like there's no real sales involved anymore. It's just advising on like, well, you just sold this one, I know you've been living there for the last 2 years, we've been in touch. What's your situation? Rather than going the alternative route and being like, you need to sell your house now because the market's at an all-time high. So it's more of a consultative approach rather than like a hard sales approach. And I think that's where lots of other companies differ in the sense of how they train people. So I think the training that we have in place like teaches people to service the client. And like one of our values is we obsess over our customers, and I think with our market reports that we do now, I never really used to send them out when I started. I thought it was just pure sales and phone calls, whereas like the amount of value I add to people without me even realising, just by updating them on the market, what's going on, kind of gravitate back to you automatically then, because you're that point of call where Jamie's probably going to send that to me on the first of the quarter. I'm waiting for it. A day later, I had a client text me the other day and say, Jamie, where's the market report? And I'm like, he hasn't replied to me for over a year and a half, but I've always sent it to him. And because he's not got it on time, because I was on holiday, he said to me, he's like, where is it? I sent it to him. He's like, thanks so much, really appreciate it. I've been following it for the last year and a half. Nice. So it's like little stuff like that the company integrates into our system is like massive without people realising it's like a massive impact.
So you joined in 2021? Mm-hmm. Just 4 years now?
Just over 4 years, 3 months, yeah.
And you've done a lot in terms of like the different positions and not just the billings, but also your position and status within the company. You come in as a consultant, went to senior consultant, then went to area manager, then went to associate director, but still managing a section of the Dubai Hills estate team. I don't know for sure, but I think you've probably progressed in that way quicker than anyone in the business. What's that down to? Why is there a new starter that started this month that's not going to have the same trajectory as you? What's different?
I think everyone's got the opportunity. I think people just don't grab the bull by the horns, to be completely honest with you. When I started, I was the first person in the office and I refused to leave until I was the person who turned the lights off. And I did that for a solid 12 months. Like the first 12 months in my career was probably the most painful I've had in every role I've ever had. And I've been really successful in everything else. And I was like, this is really hard and draining job. Because everyone chases this. I'll come in, I'll sell a house for £100 million, but then I'll make millions and millions of pound commission. Like, it just doesn't happen like that. Yeah. I kind of realised from an early day that the work that I put in today is probably not going to pay me back for another year or 2 years or 3 years or 4 years. And with that mindset, I just wanted to be 1% better than everyone else. So in my mind, if I was the last person to leave, I've worked harder than everyone else in that office that day. Yeah. If the calls didn't go well that day, I'd sit down with yourself or with one of like the senior brokers and say, this is my conversation. Would you change anything? Yeah. And like little tweaks along the way kind of got me to a stage where I was just trying to improve myself all the time. Whereas I feel like loads of people just get quite stagnant. Yeah. Whereas I always saw myself going down like the leadership route because I like to help people in general. Like the team we've got now, I love nothing more than them coming to me saying that they've got a deal that's going on, but it's got 1% left on the final hurdle that they can't get over. And for me to help them through that, getting over that, like I actually get more satisfaction off that than selling houses myself now. Yeah.
There's loads of downs. There's a few ups, which normally is payday and the deal's coming on the board, but obviously it's a few times a month. But for it being in the trenches, there's downs every single day, or what could be perceived as downs. What are moments that stick out for you as like real like learning points or pivot points of I need to change how I do this? Like there's points of self-reflection along a growth journey like yours and as aggressive and quick as yours. What are the moments that stand out as like really big moments where you knew you had to change about how you approach something, how you saw something, or just how you had to pivot in some way?
I think one of the biggest ones was, obviously, when I first started, I was there for 4 months and didn't sell a house. And I just didn't comprehend in my brain like how that was happening. Because in car sales, I was doing 25 plus cars a month, so basically one a day. In recruitment, I was doing between 7 to 12, which is like one every other day. And when I came here, I was like, I've been here 4 months and not sold anything. I was literally on the Emirates website, on the company computer, ready to book my flight home. And because Megan Fluke was sat next to me, she was like, just stay. Yeah. Something's not clicking here. Find out what that is and everything will fall into place. And to be honest, that conversation shifted my mindset completely. And then about 5 days later, I closed my first deal, which is pure mindset on what I was doing right and what I was doing wrong. That was the first one. And then
what did you change?
What I changed was being really aggressive sales. Like, everyone here just wants a conversation. It's really conversational. It's a short conversation, but it's a nice conversation. And one thing I realised that I wasn't doing was adding the correct value to the phone calls for people to want to stay on the phone for longer, for me to open the conversation further. So for me, like, value is one of the biggest things you can add to people in this game. And I think if you do add it, you should keep coming back to you.
How can you add value? To someone, the reason I'm asking is because someone might be listening to this and want the same career growth or want to take the first step. When you say it's good to add value to someone, how do you add value to a seller? How do you add value to a buyer or an investor?
Give you a prime example. I rang a seller about 3 weeks ago, and he didn't want to sell his house. He lived there with a family. Loads of people that go down a route of being like, you have to sell. I said, congratulations, you're loving it. Like, it's an amazing community. I've worked there for over 4 years now. I get why you wouldn't want to leave. But he said that he wanted to invest, but he didn't have the capital. So found out that his house was cash owned, bought it for 5 million dirham. The market value now is 14 to 15 million dirham. So he's got 200% equity that's just tied up, around 10 million dirham, so about £2 million. He can refinance that and pull around 60% out, as long as the bank's class him as feasible for it, basically. Yeah. He's now just pulled out around 8 million dirham, which he's now going to reinvest with us into something that's going to pay off the mortgage payments and give him a passive income as well. So for me, the value for him is that he didn't think he could invest, but me opening that avenue for him allowed him to keep his property, stay there, still live there rent-free, and make money on top, which is what he wanted. And like for me, like the value for him, like he was over the moon, because no one's ever told him that he could do that.
Yeah,
he's been in Dubai for 15 years now.
That's exactly what I was looking for.
Yeah.
And what? Any other moments?
Other moment for me was when the first sales manager role opened up for Dubai Haus. I was adamant I was going to get it, because I was top performer in the team, helped everybody. Yeah. And I remember we had to chat about it, and I was like,
I can't remember it. What happened?
I can't. I was like, perfect. And you were like, you aren't ready for it. And I was like, I don't understand how. And then you gave me constructive criticism in a sense of where it could have improved to get to that level. And around 9 months later, when the team expanded, I got given that opportunity without even needing to ask for it, because it changed my ways a little bit. Yeah. So for me, you saying no to me then was probably the best rejection that I've ever had, because arguably I probably wasn't ready for it then, because I was still trying to develop myself to get myself to a certain level to be able to help everyone. And across that 9 months, I actually learned a hell of a lot, which is helping me a lot now with the teams, because there's loads of issues that I probably came up with in my own deals where all the boys and girls in our team are getting the same issues now. And I remember back to then and be like, this is a solution to it. I had the exact same situation. But doing that, I feel like some people try and rush the promotions too fast, and it's not the right time. And I think one of the best things about Haus is that they'll only give you that opportunity if you're 100% right for it. And it's not if it's just right for the business, but if it's right for you as well. Because arguably, if I would have took that 9 months before and got the job, I might have not been in that position now, or would have been unhappy, or like you make sure people were stable enough to be able to carry the team as well, and make sure that the new people who were starting to get in the right kind of looking after that everyone should look for when they do start a new company.
Yeah, definitely. I think that the progression from like sales to management, especially when you're still a billing agent and you're managing, it's more so, is it right for the person, like as in you at that time? Because 100%. If it's right for you, then it's right for the business. If it's not right for you, it's going to be really bad for you, because it will take away from what you're doing from a billing perspective, because it adds too much pressure on. The people that you're serving in the team aren't going to get the right support because you just weren't ready at that point. And then the new people we're feeding a lie to when it comes to recruitment, because we're a very supportive business, we'll help you get into the role. So the knock-on effect is quite big. So you're right. But the good thing about what you've done, and lots of management within the business, is they put their hand up and they say, I want to do that right now. And then they take any feedback on board, go and work on it a little bit, and then do it when the time's right.
100%. I think that's the most important thing. It's like the sales team leads. So our position, which is, I wouldn't even say it's below sales manager, but it's just a smaller team. You get them people and give them consistent support, get them to the level where they need to be, and then you get promoted to the sales manager. So it's like, we've opened such a branch of different roles in the business now, where it gives everyone the right opportunity if they want it. And no one's ever held back and say, no, sorry, you aren't right for that. Like, we'll always make it right for everyone, so everyone's super happy. Because everyone looks for improvements, right? It might not be the management route. When I did recruitment, we had one of our top billers, and he hated working with people. He was a one-man band. He just wanted to do his own thing, but he wanted to get the promotions relevant to that. It's like the associate director scheme. It's fantastic for them, because you've got an avenue that you're guiding down, and once you get to there, you've got your promotion that you've been like seeking, basically, even though management might not be for you.
and it expands, right? Because then we've got the associate partner as well. So as people exceed and they go further, it's like, okay, cool, we need a new route to keep people engaged in the process.
Yeah.
And I think everyone looks at everyone else's job and goes, I could do that.
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
Even at the weekend, people watch football and they go, how can you do that? It's just everyone looks at someone else's position and goes, I've seen what they do, but I could do that. Yeah. But the reality is when you're doing it, there's so much more below the surface that you don't see 100%. Because you only see snippets of that person's day to day. So it's hard to, from a management perspective, sometimes explain down to someone like, look, I know like 80% of this job you could definitely do, but the 20% that you can't see, it's gonna break points and it's gonna cause issues. What's the biggest lesson that you've learned in your leadership? You've been in the management of 2 years, maybe?
Yeah, just on 2 years now. Yeah, managing the team.
What's the biggest lesson in leadership that you've learned?
For me, once again, like it's so easy to just tell someone the answer. But what I've learned is, if you just tell them the answer, they'll just come back to you for the same answer the next time.
Yeah.
Whereas if I make them go away and think about the solution, I'll get them to get a pitch together for me for what they think is the right solution to the problem.
Yeah.
And like 9 times out of 10 now, they're actually right. So they're kind of reconfirming themselves, like they know that they can do the job really well. Yeah. And it's about letting them be independent in a way that they learn themselves and kind of start to problem solve. And that coming to me is not just a quick fix, because then they'll need a quick fix again next time. Like there's no cutting corners in this game. And for me, them developing by themselves was like the biggest thing for me. And that's what I've kind of started from the very beginning, that I'm not just going to make it that easy for you. Like, I want you to work out the problems. We'll sit down, we'll bounce ideas off each other. And you're probably going to be right. I just might have a little tweak. And then you go and do it, and then you close the deal. Yeah. So for me, it's like my support system is really strong in the sense of I'm always available on my phone. And I don't mean from like 9 till 5. Like I'm available from 7 a.m. in the morning if I'm walking a dog until 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night if I'm sat in bed watching Netflix. Like I'm always available for them. And then the training sessions that we do as well, we kind of have a new group chat in our Dubai Hills team for like the newer people or the ones who feel like they need to develop a little bit more. And whenever we have an issue, we'll just fire in what the situation was and how we overcame it, so everyone else can kind of see that. So really collaborative and all trying to help each other as well. And then we do training sessions like twice a week, just quick 20 minutes in and out. Someone came up with this issue, this is how we've resolved it. Moving forward, if this does come up, like this is what my blueprint would be like to solve that issue basically. And then you do them twice a week. You do that across 56 times a year. It's 112 training sessions for them, which you can always pick up on, you know?
Yeah, and in this job, you need to be able to think on your feet. 100%. So if you need to Google it or go and ask your manager to get the answer to go back, it makes you slow. And in a marketplace like this, when you're with the client, you need to be quite fast. Fast in your opinion, fast in your approach, fast to respond, fast to act. And if they can get it right 9 times out of 10, they're going to be in a position to do more deals. So 100%, that's the best
like what they say, right? Time kills deals, and I don't think it's just deals it kills. I think it kills like trust in agents as well. Because half the time, if you're trying to answer a question and you need to go back to get a second opinion, every single time there's an issue. As long as you're developing yourself and learning as much as you can day in, day out. It's like we're not just selling houses, we need to understand the market, what's going on globally, how it's going to impact, because it's them knowledgeable conversations which build you the trust where clients do want to deal with you. And then you just build off the back of that basically.
And what made you decide to lead in that way? Is that because that's how you were led at Haus and Haus, or is that because how you believe it's the right thing to do? Like what makes you make those decisions to treat your team in that way to get the best result?
I've always been a fond believer of like doing the job, actually you learn on the job. So I was a mechanic, right? My mentor, Andy Berry, he used to let me take an engine out. And he's like, just follow the instructions, you'll be fine. You have an issue, give me a shout. And he'd sit there with a cup of coffee, chatting to the other mechanic, and I wouldn't bother him until I had an issue. When an issue came up, he'd say to me, well, what do you think?
Yeah.
Is it this bolt or that bolt? And I'd look and I'd think again, and I'd be like, well, it's that one. He was like, perfect, you're good, learn.
Yeah.
If he would have told me, I would never have learned that. It's like in sales, the exact same situation. Every time we used to come to you, your most common phrase to me is, well, what would you do?
Yeah.
And that resonated with me, and the fact of, well, I've learned in every job role I've done, which is mechanics, car sales, recruitment and real estate, by that exact process. So if it works for me, I imagine it'll work for other people. On the other hand, you do get the occasional time that you do need to give them a little bit more support in a different avenue.
Yeah.
Might be sending them an article for them to read up on, and then they pitch it back to you for how it's beneficial about, I don't know, millionaire migration in the UK. They might not understand it.
Yeah.
Some people like to research and learn that way, but for me, it's always been like a hands-on, get your hands dirty and actually understand it in like the physical sense, rather than just kind of up in the air, like not 100% sure. Like if you're there on the ground and doing it, I feel like that's the best way to learn.
And when you look back at your time at Haus, what moment are you most proud of?
Associate director promotion.
Why?
100%, because I was the fastest in the company to get it, and I've been there for, what was it, like 3 years?
Yeah, I think so.
No one's done that before. And for me to come in, I've never done real estate before, because lots of our new recruits, right, they've never done real estate before. And even in my opinion, lots of the real estate agents in the UK, they don't do as well as lots of people who have came from like Emirates, car sales, like solar sales, door-to-door sales. Like, you don't need to come from a real estate background to get into this job and be successful. I think as long as you have the right kind of will to do it, you can get there. And for me to get to director at such a fast time made me realise that, okay, I'm actually really good at this job now. And then it made me push more onto what's the next step, which is obviously associate partner, which I'm not too far away now. So that's the next conversation. But yeah, I think for me getting that, like, it was such an achievement, like to get to that level in such a short time. For me, it's just, the title just holds a hell of a lot of weight as well when you're chatting to people, and they know you've done really well to get to that, so you gain like a lot more respect. So for me, it was more when I speak to clients, like, oh, he's one of the directors in the company now, he must have worked really hard in such a short time to get there. And for me, that was massive.
Last question. What advice would you give to anyone in the company or outside the company that might be listening that wants to be as aggressive with their results as you are?
I'd probably say, don't be scared to pick the phone up. I think everyone comes here and they've got this like real like glass ceiling above their head where they're like, oh, what if these don't like me? What if they tell me to shut up or leave or put the phone down? And like, rejection is probably like the one thing that's actually really good in this job. So I used to make a tally chart of how many no's I got in a day and how many yeses I got in a day, right? So then I used to like reverse engineer it, say, okay, so if I get 25 good a day and 75 bad a day or 100 bad a day, it means 1 in 4 calls they're probably going to answer. So if I've had 4 bad calls, I know the next one's probably going to be good. So it's like having the right mindset in this game is like the biggest thing, because everyone gets in their own head about the job and they're like, I've not done a deal, I've not done this, I've not done that. But you just stick to doing the basics, ask for advice, don't try and take all the challenges on yourself, like take the weight off your shoulders. Use all the knowledgeable people inside the office, directors, managers, senior brokers, the person who sat next to you, like ask them for advice, and then you'll probably find you'll get to enjoy it a lot more by just asking for help. Because I feel like people who don't ask for help, they're the ones who stress out the most and probably end up going back to the UK.
Perfect. Thanks, Jay.
Nice, John.
Appreciate that. Jamie's journey is one of the best examples of what's possible when opportunity meets the right mindset and when you're in an environment that helps you grow. From losing everything in Liverpool to leading one of the top performing teams at Haus, Jamie has shown that success isn't about where you start, but what you do when the doors open. Jamie, thank you for joining me, and for everyone that listened, don't forget to follow the Unlocking Success podcast for more stories from the people shaping Dubai's real estate market.